Gaming. Gaming is something I have a really rich history in my life. I mean, I've been playing games since I've been young, and, even some of my friend base that I have, even to this day, was garnered from games. I played games with them. That's how I found out about them, or that's how I connected with them at school or whatever. But gaming has played a pivotal role at the early development of my life. I haven't gotten much older. I'm not super young, super old, super far along in this life, but it still plays a very, well, at least a side interest, passion role into my life still today. On the very rare occasion, the once in the blue moon time, I will come across a game, though, that has a really interesting, fresh new concept, as well as it's casual. I don't have to dedicate time or effort into studying it and understanding it, and that's what I stumbled across recently. This once in a blue moon type of game. It's called Deceive Inc. Now, Deceive Inc., in just layman terms, before I even dive into talking about it, is an extraction-based game. Now, some of you may be familiar with the extraction-based game genre. Generally speaking, some bigger names in that genre are games like Escape from Tarkov or Dark and Darker, even Marauders in there, just to name a few. Extraction games are this. Basically, you go into some sort of environment, some sort of map, to collect gear or a specific item, and the goal of it is to live and find some sort of point in which you can leave that map or basically win the game, close out the game. That's an extraction base. It's generally a PvP game. There's no PvE really. But here's the thing about extraction-based games. The cumbersome thing about them is simply this. It takes a lot of time, plus a lot of the games in this genre are very technical and very involved, if you will. Like, for example, Tarkov with its different quests and different items and different values and different, there's just a bunch of different skill thresholds that rely a lot on knowledge. Kind of has a lot of substance to it. And I don't have the time to really dive in and learn or understand more about the game. It's kind of in a similar aspect of Rust. I used to play Rust a ton back in the day, but Rust is a very time-consuming game, and I just don't have that. And it's the same allure with Tarkov. So I've longly stayed away from extraction-based games because of that, because it's just too much time, too complicated, and it's just hard to get into, especially with how my lifestyle is set up. But Deceive Inc., what it does perfectly is not only does it breathe a fresh theme to the genre, but it also casualifies, if you will, the genre at hand, where it's very simple to understand. It's very straightforward. There's no little clicks or very shiny things that I need to study and do a research paper about. It's very straightforward. So without further ado, let me explain what Deceive Inc. is. Deceive Inc. is a class-based spy-themed game. You and your friends are dropped in different settings to which you have to conduct a heist on a specific item that is hidden in each map. Simultaneously, there are other teams with friends that are trying to do the exact same thing that you're doing, but do it first. The gameplay is broken down into 3 simple sections. The first section being disabling 3 vault security terminals. That part of the game is where you and your team are gathering upgrades and different things to better your survival chance, as well as shutting down security terminals, which ultimately lead to a vault opening to which you can get said item that you're trying to extract with. The next stage is infiltration, which basically is just entering the room that houses whatever vault item. The last stage, very self-explanatory, extraction. Getting out of there. Getting the package, getting out of there, hightailing it out of there, kicking rocks, kicking cans, getting out of that piece, blowing the popsicle stand. So there's the general gist of the game at hand. Now, I know what you're saying. Okay, what's so fancy and cool about this spy game that you're so in love with? Well, this is why I love Deceiving. I love it for its casual play. I mean, I don't have to dedicate hours and hours of the game to merely understand or just enjoy the game in and of itself. It's very simple to understand, very straightforward, do this and that. And then there are multiple funny moments and wonderful times that you could have with friends in between that. Because when you have a simple, straightforward, open template, it allows for very different things and strategies to work in there, which make the game fun. Now, I'm not saying complicated games are not enjoyable, but it's just to the person that's trying to casually play a game and enjoy it, it's very polarizing. I don't want to do that. I don't want to spend the time to do that, and it shuts off a certain group of people. And that's why I desperately love Deceive Inc. It's because it's just that simple template that allows you to employ whatever you want in order to make the experience unique and fresh every time. I'm never feeling bored or irritated or tired of a specific map or a specific thing, because I could be playing the same map 20, 200, 300 times, but because of the very broad nature of the game and allowing more freedom to coming up with things and not kind of making it complicated where I need to learn this and learn that. I can learn this and learn that. It's more of me using my creativity to explore and create new things, which then adds to a layer of replayability to the game. It's kind of the same allure of Minecraft. Minecraft is the most blank, widest game there can be. I mean, here you have a very straightforward thing. You go and kill and defeat the end dragon. Cool. And you beat the game. That's a pretty simple thing. I mean, people have beat the game and moved it down to beating it in like less than 12 minutes. I mean, that's how simple and straightforward the main gist of the game is. But it's the blankness of the template, the freeness that you get to work with that allows people to play this game for years and thousands of hours because they could always come up with something new. And I think that's probably always the big selling point on video games. It's the replayability. And that's why I really love Deceive Inc. It has a very solid replayability value to it, where I definitely see it as, yes, I've been playing this game for probably a week, and yeah, it's only been a week, but I totally see myself playing this game months and maybe even years into the future, solely because it's a blank template, and also it's so early in its development, has a lot of room to go to some wonderful heights, and that's a huge thing. That's a big thing. The second thing is its art style. I've long been a fan of Team Fortress 2, and when Fortnite first came out, I did actually enjoy that as well, and this kind of mashes and pulls similarities between the art styles of those two games, mainly Team Fortress 2. And it's a unique, fresh breath into the kind of grungy, dark theme that follows these extraction-based games. And it also perfectly encapsulates the idea of the game in and of itself being a casual game that's a lot of fun. And I'm not really some big art guy that can break down visuals and meanings behind something. I mean, I'm sure I could sit and talk about it and eventually figure it out, but it's just there's something so sleek and I don't know, I just love the art style. I'm not going to try to over explain it. The art style is wonderful and truthfully, again, unique to the rest of what is presented in this genre of game. And obviously one big thing about video games are the visuals. I mean, does it look good? I mean, that was kind of the big talking point back in the day of, are the graphics sweet looking? Now, I don't really care about those now, but it's definitely an added bonus where I get to look at something very smooth and clean that just has a cohesion to it completely throughout the game, if that makes any sense. And lastly, I kind of wanted to touch on this. Now, this isn't really more of an in-depth point, but it is very intriguing nonetheless. I love that the developers of the game are pretty strung into the community, hearing what the community has to say. Yes, the game's early in development, and the true test will come when the game ages longer and longer, but the important signs is that they're showing it early. They're convening with the community. They just did a Q&A about future things coming up and answering questions on various different platforms. Like, they're very intrigued in the feedback, not only just the statistics of what people are doing in the game, but also the feedback from the people that are actually playing the game, which then allows them to create honestly a better game. That's huge. I mean, many companies that we know now just kind of do their own thing, and albeit they are large and big and, scary, it's just one of those sweet little things that is an added bonus to a game of a developer, of whoever's making the game, being in tune and hearing from the community. That's huge. Now, all these things come together and really create the perfect environment for me to play games. Now, I don't know where you're at in life or what responsibilities you have, whether you have them or not. Maybe you're just a streamer or someone who makes YouTube videos as well, and you have plenty of time to do all this stuff. Hey, that's cool. That's why I think this game's wonderful. Now, I'm no expert. I'm no game reviewer, which personally I think is kind of a dumb title, but I just wanted to share this game that I found that I thought was very intriguing and perfectly fits at least who I am when I'm looking for a game to play in my free time. So hopefully you pulled something from the day, and hopefully I've inspired you to at least look at this game, look into it, watch some gameplay videos, maybe even buy it and play it a couple rounds with friends. And I hope you really enjoyed this content. Again, I love doing this. I love talking about things that I love and enjoy. So thank you for listening. Earnestly, thank you for listening. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Peace.